Well, when I started getting these results, and of course when I had been working with selective patients and getting these results, I began to realize that there was something more than what we were taught in medical school about the way things were. There was a deeper mystery involved, and it had to do with energy and it had to do with consciousness. So in doing some more research with cancer cells, I was curious about the nature of intentionality. What is intentionality, and what makes intentionality really work? And so I decided to work with cancer cells because we're not dealing with a placebo effect. We're not dealing with systems of belief, which contain so many variables. It's very hard to work with people and tease out just what the role of intentionality is, what the role of belief is, past conditioning is, and such. But working with cancer cells, you don't have that problem. You've got single-celled organisms and you can focus on them. So we worked with single-celled organisms using markers for their growth rate, using the uptake of radioactive thymidine in the DNA of these cancer cells, running them through a scintillation counter, using some of the most modern technology that was available at the time. And we were able to reduce the growth rate of cancer cells by 40% relative to controls using intentionality, and we were also able to stimulate the growth of cancer cells by 15% if that was our intentionality. And I was interested in seeing what the role of the thought intention was versus image intention. So I would, for example, hold the image of just 3 cells in a petri dish. Normally that's covered with cancer cells, and just see what the image itself would do. And we got a 20% reduction in the growth rate of cancer cells using imagery alone. Then I was interested in seeing if I only held the thought intention, reducing their growth rate, the thought intention of reducing the growth rate. And I got a 20% reduction in the growth rate of these cancer cells. Then I combined imagery and thought, and I got a 40% reduction. Initially I thought that it would be exponential, it would be greater than that. That was what my thought was, but in fact it wasn't. It doubled the growth rate when we do that. So these are the first experiments that I was aware of that differentiated between thought and imagery.